Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the basics of day trading for beginners, okay? I think I give a lot of higher level, medium level content, but sometimes, I get so in the groove of talking about this stuff that sometimes I skip over a lot of the basics. So if you're brand new, I think this is the video for you, and I think I can answer a lot of very frequent questions that come up, particularly for people that are new to day trading. All right, everyone, welcome back. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, ring that bell. Most importantly, be notified as soon as we drop a new video. And I am lead trainer with Stocks Trade, Tim Bowen. I run the Steady Trade team. It's an amazing mentorship program. I've done over 3,000 webinars in 5 years. Never missed a day, never been late, never failed to show up ready to rock and ready to give as much trading information as possible in twice daily webinars. Check out the Steady Trade team. All right, let's talk about the basics of day trading. So I'm going to run through a lot of the stuff you look at. So maybe you've been on pre-market prep, maybe you've been on a lot of these videos and you're like, what's all this stuff going on, okay? So I'm not really going to get into much charting, because I've got a ton of videos on charting, but a lot of the other information that you have on the screen, you see my screen. If you get Stocks to Trade, which you should get, click below for the trial. You might see a lot of this information, see green, red, lines going everywhere, and you're wondering what it is. So I'm going to start with a lot of the information. We're kind of mostly going to focus on the lower level of the screen you're looking at, kind of below the charting. And I'm just going to work left to right, and I'm going to explain to you a lot of these things that are some of the most important information. Again, I know, like particularly on pre-market prep and stuff like that, it's very, very chart-based. So I'm always saying, hey, this chart level, this price level, this red to green, this VWAP, etc., all those levels. And a lot of times you might not hear me talking about a lot of this other information, though you see it on screen and you're wondering what it is. So we're going to start with the basics box over here on the left. And what that shows in, and it's very simple, but some of the most important information is here. And I'm going to focus on the stuff that I use and I think you should be particularly dialed in on. Nice thing is you got the high of the day, the low of the day, right off the bat. I mean, right there at the top. And I care about those particularly, that high of the day, because if you're familiar with that, the dip and rip morning setup, as well as the afternoon VWAP hold, those are both keying off the high of day level. So you always want to know that high of day level for your stock, because those are the explosive levels. I mean, if AMC happens to break 3071 during this video, you'll see a response. I don't necessarily look at the low of the day. If you're short bias, you probably want to, because keep in mind, if you're short bias, you're dialing in on the low of the day for breakdowns. So it's like, I mean, remember, when we talk long and short in day trading, it's the same idea. It is. And I know I joke a lot about short sellers on my social media. It's the same process. They're both totally viable strategies. We're looking at emotional levels. And when shorting, you're just flipping that chart upside down and you're looking for panic. When we're going long, we're looking for euphoria, greed. Okay, we're keying off of greed. When you're shorting, you're looking at fear. Okay, the two words that drive the stock market more than anything, fear and greed. So anyway, if you're looking at that, if you're shorting, if you're looking at those breakdowns, you look at the low of the day. Then I can see the previous, or the open price and the previous close. That previous close is the red to green line. You know I love that. And then the volume, that's your volume on the day. AMC has traded 132 million shares. And then related to that, right below is the 60-day average. Okay, that is a key. I look at, other than the float, and we'll get to the float in a second, I look at the 60-day average probably the most, well, second to the float, because I want to look for stocks that are trading, you'll hear me say ridiculous, unusual, all of these adjectives. But if you're day trading, I don't care if you're long or short, you need unusual volume, you need ridiculous volume, because we're looking for big moves. What creates big moves? Unusual, this is your post-it note, write this down. One of my favorite quotes. Unusual volume brings unusual price action. And when we're day trading, we're looking for unusual price action. Upside, downside, fear, greed. Okay. So you can see again, AMC is kind of one of the biggest movers, a meme stock. You can see the 60-day average is 42 million. You can see I'm recording towards the end of the day at almost 3:30 p.m. It's traded 132 million shares. So it's traded 3 times the average volume. That's unusual. That is something to key on. There's a reason it's up 23%. Okay, next thing we look at is the market cap. AMC is a little bit bigger market cap than we typically look to day trade, but it's a meme stock. So normally we're looking at 20 million market cap, 50 million, less than 100 million market cap stocks. This is a 15 billion market cap, but it's an insane meme stock. Then the last thing that we really dial in on is the float. You'll hear me say float, low float, low float, low float. When we're day trading, we love, and let me bring up one kind of one of the bigger movers today that's a low float. So you can see BFRI. This is a stock you can see went red to green and squeezed for $2 a share on a Friday, which is always glorious. But you can see $100 million market cap, kind of what I was mentioning, 6 million float, a good example. And then again, you can see unusual price action. It's trading 2.5 times the 60-day average. Okay, so I'm going to jump back to AMC just to kind of keep things consistent. Next is we're going to look at the level 2 box, and I'm going to go really quick on this. Okay, level 2 merits an entire video and probably merits way more than a 10-minute video. Okay, but the biggest thing I'm going to focus on is the bid and the ask, because listen, level 2 is very important, but I'm trying to keep this as a 10-minute video. Level 2 warrants way more than that. So the biggest thing I want to talk about is the bid and the ask. So the bid and the ask is the bidders. Okay, that's the lowest price someone's willing to buy at. Okay, so if you're bidding on an auction, think about it. Your bidders, your buyers are saying, hey, this is the price I'm willing to pay up to. Okay, I'm buying a car, I'm buying a stock. I'm like, hey, man, you got a really nice 1987 Camaro. It's a little rusty. It's got about 100 horsepower. I'll give you 1,500, but that's it. I ain't giving you 1,501, all right? And then on the ask side is the guy with the glorious mullet and the tank top t-shirt and the cargo shorts, and he's like, wait a minute, I ain't taking less than $1,750 for my 87 rusted out Camaro. So that's on the ask. So then that's the lowest price that people are willing to sell at. Okay, now you're going to see that bid and that ask jump around because it's not just you and the guy with the mullet. Okay, you got to understand, in the stock market, especially a liquid stock, it's not 1-to-1. There's not only 2 people looking to trade AMC, thousands and hundreds. So you're going to see that bid and that ask jump around a little bit because you've got, well, now I said hundreds, thousands, a liquid stock like this, tens of thousands of people trading this thing. So you're going to see that move around. And then when we talk about the spread, that is the difference between the bid and the ask. Now, I'm going to beg you to trade liquid stocks. You can see most of the time AMC has a penny spread. I just saw a 2-cent spread. That's what you want. That's a liquid stock with a tight spread. If you're trading illiquid stocks with wide spreads, you can't get the fills you want. You're going to get crappy fills, and you're going to end up paying $1,600 for that rusted out Camaro because the spread's too wide, and you get a crappy price. Car's probably not even worth that. Okay, probably not even worth the $1,500 you're willing to pay. But anyway, I'll quit with my dumb analogy. Anyway, look for tight spreads, pennies at the most. If you're looking at 50 cents, multiple dollars a share, the stock is too illiquid and should be ignored. Next thing we're looking at is the level 1, which is what we call the tape, okay? And basically every sale that is consummated goes on the tape, okay? So every time there's a transaction made, it goes on the tape. It's what we call the level 1. So you'll see 3 things. Time, obviously we know what the time is. That's the timestamp. The next is the price. That's the price that the transaction took place at. We sold something, I bought, you sold, I bought at that specific price. Now, then the next thing is the size. That's the number of shares. 1 share, 2 shares, thousands, 337 shares, 96. That's your shares that were transacted. You know, so I just saw 20 shares. I bought 20 shares from you. I'm the buyer. I bought on the bid. You sold on the ask. We transacted 20 shares. Then the next thing that's quite frequently misunderstood is the colors. Because people think, oh, what's that mean? Does that mean it was a short? Does that mean it was a buy? Et cetera, et cetera. No. All that shows is upticks, downticks, or unchanged. And I'm going to finish on this, and please pay attention. Well, I won't finish. I got one more thing. But don't read too much into that. So many people see the level 1. They think it's shorts. They think it's longs. No. All that shows is if there's a green print, we call it. So there's a print on the tape. I'm trying not to get too jargony. But if there's a green print, that means that that transaction was an uptick from the previous transaction. So stock sold at $29.55 and the previous transaction was at $29.54. Uptick. Then if the stock sells at $29.53 versus the previous transaction, it's going to be a red. It's going to be a downtick. Now if it sells at $29.54 and then another transaction at $29.54, that's your white print, unchanged. Green uptick versus the previous transaction, red's a downtick versus the previous, and then white is unchanged. So if you see a bunch of white transactions, I just saw a bunch of transactions took place at $29.54 unchanged. All right, last thing I'm going to talk about is I'm just going to quickly walk you through all of the data in stocks to trade because this video is running a little long. So we've got our news, okay, which is all press releases, company announcements. Then you've got the SEC filings, which are the legally required filings that companies need to make with the SEC, with the government. Those are their, whether they buy stock, sell stock, if they dilute, if they have earnings, they need to file with the SEC. Events are events that you set in stocks to trade. We've got a chat module, which is awesome. Definitely check out the trial. Anytime someone in stocks to trade mentions that specific ticker, it'll be filtered for that. I love that, especially like if you're in a stock, if you're in AMC, you'll see what everyone's saying about AMC. That's the beauty of it. Because if you're in the stock, you want to know, is there news? What's the chatter? What's going on? Then profile is your basic information on the stock. What industry are they in? Where are they located, etc. Key statistics is way too much information for this video, but it's all of the financial information that we use. I'll do another video on that. Then we've got the order box, which is where you buy and sell on the bid, the ask, etc. Related, love this tab because this shows you other companies that are in the same sector as the stock you're looking at. So this is one of the great ways to find sympathy plays. Okay, you might have heard sympathy plays. We do that with the related tab. Next is the Twitter feed. It's Christmas. People are posting Grinch, which, Twitter is a disaster. Anyway, don't go on Twitter if you're day trading. It used to be so useful. It used to be so great. And then 2016 happened anyway, the nice thing is we do have this feature where you can see every tweet about AMC, but all you're going to see is pumpers, bashers, and nonstop stupid memes. And then the last one is rating. This is TipRanks. It's another service that gives you hedge funds insider rating. It's exclusive to stocks to trade. TipRanks is a very interesting feature. Again, I'll save that for another video. So I made it in about 15 minutes. They told me to keep it under 10. I only ran over by 50%. Anyway, comment below. Let me know if you like these videos, kind of breaking down. I think this is very, very useful, especially like people don't necessarily know how to use the information in the basics box. Level 2 is so misunderstood. So many people don't understand level 2. And again, even the tape, the uptick, downtick thing trips up a lot of people. Drop me a comment. check out the Steady Trade team. Would love to work with you, and we'll see you next time.